Um, I just wanted to talk about something that I've noticed that I came to realize today about the men that I've dated. Other than one, most of the men that I've dated have been, or have had situationships or hookups with. The majority of them have been abusive, other than one so far. Well, 3 actually. 4. Shit. Fuck. Okay, so there were a few that weren't abusive, but the ones who are abusive, obviously this thing has happened with me, that happens with all people when they're put through bad experiences, at the hands of a group of people that they can stereotype, is that essentially they start seeing all members of that group as, possessing the same abusive characteristics as the 1, 2, 3, or many members of that group that did hurt you. It's essentially your brain's way of attempting to stay safe by predicting the same kind of pain again. Obviously that leads into hatred and bigotry. And I'm trying to fight, it's not even hateful thoughts, fearful thoughts more so. Although a lot of women would say that I'm just having common sense, which is sad. Really sad. I met up with Carl a few days ago, and I've been hanging out with him mostly because I've been hoping that maybe he might let me stay in his house sometimes, in case things around here ever get bad, while I wait for the council to help me out. Hopefully they will, who knows. I feel so tired having to rehash this story. I feel so tired in general. To put it simply, Carl is a douche. And through our interaction, the last time I met him, I started to realize something about the not particularly abusive men that I've been with, other than the 4 that were okay. I've noticed something, and I've noticed this in my father as well. And it seems to only belong to abusive men, although I think to a certain degree all men possess this trait just a tiny bit. I remember reading somewhere that going on estrogen makes it actually easier for you to not act out because of your emotions, but that it gets much easier to cry and feel sad. And what I've noticed from going on the testosterone supplements, which is raising my testosterone levels just a tiny bit, that my emotions are more intense in the moment, but they fade quicker, which is very good for my mental health. And that seems to be the general consensus of many people who have gone on testosterone for their own particular reasons. And I guess the whole women are emotional thing is just a projection on men's part, because it seems to be that they're perhaps the more emotional gender. Testosterone has an effect on people, I guess. Anyways, I've noticed that with these abusive men that I've been with, and with my father, is that they lash out and they feel justified in hurting you after you don't give them something that they want. And I think everyone is capable of this and does this. Obviously, it's not a mind-blowing thing that I realized. Most feminists have been screaming about the way that men feel entitled to certain things. And it's a people kind of a behavior. It's a people thing. That if you think you can coerce and hurt someone into doing what you want them to do because you're angry that you can't get what you want, you will. But women don't tend to do this as often, I've noticed, and if they do, it's manipulative behavior. The minute that they think they can't control you, they let go. And I guess men don't, just because they know that they're bigger. At least the abusive ones. I've noticed men can get incredibly upset very quickly in a way that I haven't seen any of my female friends do. I think we're better capable with sitting with our feelings instead of acting out because of them. So even the best of men, I've noticed, have this trait. But the worst of them don't know how to behave accordingly to any sort of moral guideline when they get upset. And, yeah. It's only just a pattern I've noticed now. Now that I understand why, it's something I kind of already knew before, to be honest, though. I used to do this thing where if a man chatted me up, I would leave him unread for about 2 days, just to see what would happen, because I knew that the dangerous ones, they would lash out at about day 2. I'd leave them unseen for a while. I have this rule that I live by, that before you know if a man is safe, you should say no to them. Just say no about anything. Sex, money, not that I've never had to pay a man money or anything like that, but say no to them. Say no to doing something that they want. Something that you know that will upset them. Do it deliberately and wait. Probably not the best thing to do to foster trust between the genders, but I swear to God, it'll teach you a lot about who that man is. I'm so tired, I just want to sleep. I always want to sleep. I'm kind of upset at the moment, to be honest. I was talking to Ahmed last night, a new man who is interested in me. He's the one who introduced me to Blair. I'm still going to have to find someone who can type out that apology to Blair for me. Even though I feel like even though something's switched in me, where now I kind of realized that I've been so concerned with what other people feel and think, and whether or not they're happy, as opposed to prioritizing whether or not I'm happy. And I need to stop that. I'm still terrified of acting on certain things I want to do because of that feeling. And honesty is something I've always prized in other people. But I'm a little bit terrified of acting on this newfound feeling, even though I know it'd be good for me. Because I'm worried that I'm going to switch back into my moral perfectionist, people pleaser self eventually, and that I'll regret the decisions that I've made. I'm surprised this feeling has lasted so long. So I'm a little bit upset because I was talking to Ahmed last night and he wouldn't stop texting me when I wanted to go to sleep. That was not the thing that was upsetting me. The thing that upset me more is that he knows that I want to be with 2 men in a polyamorous relationship. I may be attracted to women, and because of my terrible ex, I am finding it difficult to open myself up to the male gender, and my interest in women has gone up significantly. Even though that's the case, I still have this fantasy. And it's it's so sad because I feel like being polyamorous is just some. I always felt like being polyamorous is just some hookup lifestyle when it's not. At least I don't think it is. I just would get so annoyed at myself that I didn't want to be monogamous in any way, shape, or form. Anyways, Ahmed knows this about me, knows I'm aiming to get a polyamorous relationship. Even though I feel like my desire for polyamory in and of itself is unrealistic, and my desire for two gentle, loving men is beginning to feel unrealistic too. Oh god. Listen to me. Just fucking misery over here. Fucking so much self-pity I need to get over myself. I've only met, like, what, 5 bad men in my life? One friend put me in the hospital. Father. Another straight up told me that my feelings don't matter. Third one fell out of love with me within the first, I don't know, week in our relationship. Continued on to stay with me and pretend like nothing was wrong. And also raped me. And another one, I told that I was polyamorous too. I wanted to be polyamorous. He lied to me and said he was okay with that. We started having a situationship, and then told me later on, because of a conflict we were having, decided to tell me that he was hoping that through being with him I would see sense and revert back to some traditional monogamy ways with him, because he was going to show me the light. God. Oh. I'm gonna have to be quiet for a second. Someone's outside. Moving on from that. Ahmed knows I'm not into monogamy. And last night, he was just discussing with me what my plans were with Blair. And I essentially said I feel like Blair came on far too fast. I don't know if she really is interested in me as a person, but instead is more just looking for a partner, if that makes sense. And that I liked the terms of our agreement. However, the terms of our agreement and the relationship we're looking to have definitely does not match my original desires. However, I still thought that perhaps it would be good for me. That being said, now that I think about it, it would be much more cruel to agree to a relationship with her we were going to meet her and then have another girl in the relationship. And I thought this would be good for me at the time, but now that I think about it, my desires have switched back again. And I think it might just be in everyone's best interest if I just go for what I want, see if I can get it, and then leave it behind. Because it'd be much more cruel to agree to a relationship with her under the preconditions that it's essentially a testing ground for me to see if I even want this, and then decide that I don't and fucking pull out. Like, at that point, that's much more cruel. No matter how many times I tell myself that I don't want a man, or in this case, men, that I don't want polyamory, that I absolutely don't fantasize about two strong, tall, responsible, gentle men who are okay with me fucking other people sometimes too. Like, that is unrealistic as shit. I still want it. I still want that. My ideal situation, my ideal fantasy has always been me, these two imaginary men, imaginary, beautiful, tall men, in a relationship together. They're my primaries, and then maybe on the side, like I have BDSM subs, women, femboys that I dominate sometimes. I guess it doesn't sound entirely unrealistic. There's probably people out there who are into that. But last night, as I was talking to Ahmed, he revealed to me that Blair really doesn't even like the idea of having another girl in a relationship with me, which makes sense given what Blair wants, even though that's what she agreed to with me. Because I was honest with Blair, but I never tried to coerce her into what I wanted, you know? She seems to be putting all the pressure on herself to conform to my desires, or at least find a middle ground for what we both want. However, the way Ahmed was talking about it seemed more like Blair was just, I think was just going to try and weasel a monogamous relationship out of me. Go along with what I said I wanted. Keep up the ruse and then eventually reveal, oh no, I didn't want to do that all along. Which is kind of shitty, to be honest, when I think about it. Seemed that she'd been talking to Ahmed and that's what she said. And then Ahmed said that he'd be okay with having a polyamorous relationship with me. But then a few minutes later into the conversation, he said, well, maybe if you had some monogamous relationships that hadn't failed. My monogamous relationships did not fail. One came to its end, but I'm still on good terms with that person. And the other ones were not my fault. It wasn't monogamy's fault, and it was not the relationship's fault. It was literally that I was with a bad person. We could have been doing polyamorous. I could have been doing a polyamorous situation with this person, and a relationship still would have, quote unquote, failed because they were a terrible person to be with. You know, just because a relationship ends doesn't mean that it has failed. I ended the first relationship because it was in, I think, both of our best interests, because we're both much happier now, to be quite frank. And remained on good terms with that person, which I honestly see as a success. And then the second one, I did not fail that relationship. I escaped an abusive situation. So, God, I'm much more angry about this than I thought I was. It pissed me off to read that, but I didn't know I was still angry. So what happens when you don't have anyone but a camera to talk to. Just begin to forget what your feelings are, your thoughts. He also revealed that he would be very jealous of another man. I'm okay with maybe another woman, even though my original intention is another man. But he said that would make him jealous. Now I'm beginning to think perhaps he's giving me lip service too. This keeps on fucking happening. I keep on saying to people, I don't want to be monogamous. And they take that as a personal challenge. I want to. I'm gonna have to wait again. Literally, I keep on saying to people that I'm interested in polyamory, and they take it as a personal fucking challenge. I don't think I've ever met someone who's okay with me being polyamorous. ever. Maybe one person or two people. Obviously, nothing went there with them. I didn't know that upset me. And it annoyed me, but now I'm feeling so sad, and I didn't know that made me so sad. I don't usually like to take naps during the day, but I'm not depressed today. I'm not actually in a very low place. I'm feeling sad and bad emotions right now. Sad and angry emotions, not bad, Jesus. But I'm not actually depressed. I wonder if people who aren't depressed know that. There is a significant difference between feeling a sad emotion and feeling depressed. Two completely different feelings. So now I'm just sad. If I let the sadness keep going instead of doing something about it, then I might get depressed. I might get depressed for today. However, I'm so tired, I might take a nap anyways. I really need to set harder boundaries with people in my life. I stayed up way too late chatting with Ahmed. He just wouldn't leave me alone. He decided to try dominating me and was literally like, you have to do whatever I say. No, that's not how domination works, Ahmed. Should I just tell him that he's got domination all wrong? Should I have just hung up? Because I kept on saying, I'm going to sleep now. He'd be like, no, you have to do whatever I say. This feels so dumb. This feels like something I should have learned to do when I was 13. What is wrong with me? I'm 20 years old. What the fuck? I find it so hard to confront people. I guess it's part of the people pleasing thing. Confronting people is so difficult for me. My nose is so tiny, I look like a skeleton. I actually have, I guess, another split alter that I created that has no problem with confronting people, but that is not the host. You know, me is the host. Confronting people is not my fucking thing. And it's so annoying because people will, when I have that alter out a lot, people just assume I'm this bombastic, in your face, don't give a fuck kind of a person, which I think is the kind of a person that I would have grown into had my development not been fucked entirely, because I've kind of always been that way, and it's not like I'm pretending to be that person. That person is an alter within me, but the alter has, part of me. It's not me. But then a situation will happen, and I'll revert back to the host, or worse, to a little codependent alter that I've created in the Lilac family. God, there's a spot on the back of my neck. Ah! And then people who think that they see me for this in-your-face kind of a person who doesn't care will be so surprised to see me pathetically groveling when I'm scared. It's humiliating. Like, that has genuinely happened to me in the past, and it is so humiliating because I don't feel like I'm living up to something. Maybe it might be time that I break up with Blair. Ahmed keeps telling me that I have to try and make it work with her, because she might let me stay with her. Get out of this place. I don't know. I'm gonna sleep. I'll leave this video where it is.